Do you remember when we were told this was a dangerous conspiracy theory?
I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law.
Well, step forward. Good Morning Britain host Adil Ray. He posted this on social media yesterday. Some say Mamdani, who's the new mayor of New York, may implement Sharia law. He might. The heart of Sharia is social justice, welfare, fairness, charity and cohesion. Most Muslim countries operate a hybrid of Sharia and civil law, are slowly reforming and abandoning unethical practices, despite the West's portrayal. Gosh, you know what? Adil Ray's changed his tune, hasn't he? Remember now, there's always a tweet. There's always a tweet. Here it is. He says, the EDL are about as insignificant as those Muslims who call for Sharia law. I have never heard of any of them. Well, maybe Adil needs to look a bit harder, because there was actually a group called Sharia for UK and Islam for UK, and it was one of many front organisations used by the radical Islamist network Al-Majroon, and that was in the United Kingdom. The group was led by the extremist preacher Anjem Chowdhury and advocated for the implementation of Sharia law right across the UK. They actually called for various things. One, capital punishment. They explicitly called for the death penalty for offences such as leaving Islam and also adultery. By the way, they wanted to kill you by stoning, in case you're wondering. Physical punishments. They advocated for severe physical punishments, such as flogging or lashing for offences like drinking alcohol. They also supported punishments like chopping people's limbs off for theft. Segregation of the sexes. You see, tonight we've got a wonderfully mixed audience, not under the Sharia, though, of course. Establish a caliphate as well, so that's nice, just to round it off. And actually, polling data from 2024 revealed that 32% of British Muslims favour the implementation of Sharia law in the UK. Well, Adil Ray then doubled down. He said, I'm not actually suggesting that Mamdani would implement Sharia law, but many of the issues he campaigned for are also some of the positive values of Sharia that Muslims try to live by. OK, some countries with Sharia law, then. So we've got Afghanistan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Sudan and Yemen. Do we think that Adil might want to leave his comfortable London TV studio to go to live in any of those countries? I'm not really sure he will. Another country, of course, is Nigeria. 12 northern states have just started implementing Sharia law. What else is happening in Nigeria, Adil? Oh, yeah, there are reports of Christians being slaughtered en masse. Now, Adil Ray might claim that true Sharia has never actually been tried. You know, like what communists say about their ideology. Well, given the amount of child rape, cousin marriage, female genital mutilation, stonings, beheadings, chopping off of limbs, persecution of gay people and terrorism in those countries, I think where it has been tried, I think we might swerve it over here, thanks, Adil. But he's a presenter on ITV's Good Morning Britain. The same programme, well, this happened to Piers Morgan, didn't it?
Continue to trash her.
OK, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no.
Sorry. Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe, not my own.
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
This is absolutely diabolical behaviour.
Well, he left because he offended Meghan Markle. And reportedly, ITV were worried about markets and advertising implications, commercial implications, because of what he said. But it seems that Adil Ray can try and promote Sharia law, and he just keeps his job. No commercial pressure there, no pushback, no lefties kicking off, no crisis meetings with ITV execs. What a strange, strange country we live in. I'll get the views of my panel and then we'll go to the audience. Well, Emily, welcome back. Let's talk about Sharia law. So, what do you make of the comment that Adil Ray made on social media?
I'm absolutely shocked when I saw it on Twitter, that he would say that so brazenly on Twitter, and I knew it was going to go viral. Of course, I think I quote-tweeted it saying, sorry, what? Because why on earth would a Good Morning Britain presenter decide to make Sharia law sound kind of fluffy? Oh, don't worry, it works alongside lovely laws that we have over here. It's not a problem if it happens in New York. Don't worry, don't worry. Talking about social justice at the heart of Sharia, welfare, fairness, charity and cohesion. OK, should we take Adil Ray's word for it, or should we have a look at some of those countries that you listed so carefully there, where it's actually working in practice, and see what it's like for women and any minorities, let's say?
Christo, your views?
I think that it would be interesting if we thought about the new show that they're going to be bringing to ITV, actually.
Good, yeah.
It's going to be called Sharia Morning Britain. It's going to be presented by Adil, Ray, and this is an exclusive, actually, that I'm bringing you here. I didn't think you knew this. It's going to be presented by Adil Ray and Kate Garraway. Unfortunately, if Kate Garraway is late for the news, she will be beheaded. Or stoned to death. But other than that, it's hoping to be an absolute success. I find this such a double standard, because if someone, in a more serious note, if someone went on television and said, right, I would like to advocate for a really extreme form of Christianity where no other religion would be allowed, people would be rightly up in arms, because we are a tolerant nation. However, when it works the other way, there doesn't seem to be any pushback. And to be honest, when you look at the traits, as you have brilliantly outlined, of many of the countries that have Sharia, what a really weird hill for Adil Ray to die on. And so, you can get stoned to death for apostasy, leaving Islam. If you're a woman that's raped, you need to have 4 men that can verify that you were raped, and then you'll be done for adultery anyway. You could be beheaded. I would be hanging from a rope at the moment. I'd have probably enjoyed some of the segregation before then, but after that, I could see the value of the segregation thing, but then after that, I would be hanging from the gallows. It is absolutely bizarre. And I'm afraid, like I said, it's a complete double standard, because if any of us made the same point in the opposite way, we would be cancelled.
We'll go to Andy, then we'll see if anyone in the audience has got a question after that. So go on, mate. What would you like to say? You going into bat for Sharia law?
No, I don't think I am, to be honest. I think Ofcom compliance is crying on the phone now. I think it's silly to say that Zoran Mamdani was elected on Sharia values. I think, of those Abrahamic religions, lots of them have common values of giving to charity, about looking after your neighbour. That can be said of, I think, almost every religion. But Zoran was elected on democratic socialism. That was the platform on which he ran. I don't think he was elected on any kind of Sharia law, and I don't think he'll ever put in Sharia law into New York. I don't think we'll see, the Islamic Caliphate of New York anytime soon, sadly. Well, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
God, that went down poorly, didn't it? Oh, God. I won't make that joke again.
I could have told you that, mate. It's actually not a very Sharia-compliant audience here. Although, of course, look, it's obviously it's one of those stories about if you don't laugh, you'll cry. But we do have 85 Sharia courts in this country. Yeah. We are the Western capital for Sharia courts. Before we go to you, Linda, if that's all right, I'll just open it up to the audience now. There's a couple of people with microphones. I think there's a gentleman on the front row here. Are you all right, mate? What would you like to say about this topic? Thank you for coming.
I don't think that they should be bringing their laws into this country. But the problem is the Prime Minister, sad bloke he is,
right.
He is so, for everybody else except for the British population and the British community and everything like that.
Okay.
Do you think he'd bow down to that and allow Sharia law to come into this country?
Do we think the Prime Minister would allow it? Well, technically... Can I just ask you a question? I hope you don't mind me asking. You've got a symbol on your shirt there. Is it some kind of military symbol?
Yeah, it's British Army. Yeah, I'm a soldier.
Well, we will ask you a question, but I would like to hear from you probably at the 10 p.m. segment, because we're talking about whether or not Britain was worth fighting for, etc. So I'd love to hear from you then as well. Linda, what do you think about whether or not the Prime Minister would be willing to essentially, he's not doing anything about the Sharia courts at the moment, for example.
Well, we've already got them, as you say. We've got 85 Sharia law courts. I can't understand why we have those. Because we've got laws in this country. We don't need another set of laws from another culture, who are actually, if you look at that list of countries, people are leaving those countries to come here. That's the whole point. Look at Sharia law in those countries. Saudi Arabia, Iran, Sudan, Afghanistan. It was only in 2016 that they stoned a woman to death in a public square without a trial in Afghanistan. So I think we've got to be very careful about any further moves to adopt Sharia law, because although Adil Ray says that, yeah, it works as a great hybrid system in some Muslim countries, it doesn't in countries like Saudi Arabia. It's off with your head if you do anything remotely difficult.
There's a wider point which I was alluding to as well, which is I'm always fascinated by this, like the commercial issues of TV channels, right? So it was deemed so so unpalatable for Piers Morgan to say certain things about Meghan Markle and then push back on it. I reckon, like, the overwhelming majority of the British public agree with him that they don't particularly like her and they think maybe she's a bit of a grifter, which she would deny. But for Adil Ray to say, basically do a puff piece for Sharia law, that's fine. No, there'll be no meetings with ITV executives going, how the heck do we sort this problem out, will there?
And it's so wonderful that he talks about those sort of moral boundaries that he wanted to really champion around Sharia law, because, well, we've all seen how many ITV daytime presenters live by moral boundaries, haven't we?
Yes, OK. Well, there we go, of course, not naming any names.
No, I was just talking generally.
What do you think of that? I mean, is it to not say something about Britain where it's basically OK to gently nudge people potentially towards Sharia law, but it's not really OK to say things like stop the boats or I don't like Meghan Markle?
Yeah, because I imagine that if, you know, some of the junior executives, some of the junior producers got together and said, you know what, we don't like Adil Ray saying these types of things, they'd probably worry that they'd be called racist or Islamophobic or something ridiculous like that. So even if you were deeply offended by Adil Ray's comments, you wouldn't dare probably go to HR about it and say, actually, I'm a bit worried about what he's saying here. Sharia law, isn't that where women are beheaded for adultery or where women are only worth half a man's testimony, etc., etc.? They just wouldn't, would they?
To come back to the chapter...
Maybe they will. Maybe we'll be proven wrong.
But I think, actually, that is the story here, though. I mean, if Adil Ray wants to say this, you know, I don't like it, I'm not, you know, championing it, but he actually has the right to say it. Free speech is hearing things you don't like. I think the thing that annoys us is the double standard. If someone... Because there's such a sensitivity on the other side, as you point out, about Meghan and all these things, and it's the double standard that drives people mad, I
saw a microphone being passed around. Does someone else want to say something on this? It's fine if not, and it's quite a controversial topic. Have you got the mic? So he's got the mic. He's ready to go. He's locked and loaded. Come on. Let's be having you.
I know this is on Sharia law, but Adil Ray said something, nothing will happen. What about Ryland when he made his comments politically on live TV? What happened to him? Yeah? And as you said, Christo, double standards. Let's see if double standards really are there now.
And you're
challenging.
You're absolutely right, because also Ryland wasn't giving his own opinion. He was saying, quite rightly, there are some people that think it's unfair. He was doing his job as a broadcaster and putting across both sides. Adil Ray was actually giving his opinion, and it's apparently fine.
Exactly. All right, guys, we're gonna steam on and just press ahead with this. I think I've got some kind of right reply from ITV and indeed Adil Ray. GB News have contacted both ITV and Adil Ray's representatives. Oh, good.
Adil Ray OBE.
OK.
I think that's important to the story, is it not?
OK, she's back, isn't she? Oh, she's back.
Get enough of this at home.
Mr. Sharia over here.
Exactly, yeah.
We're awaiting a response. Do you have to read that out as well? No? OK, good. OK, lovely stuff.